Using the pen tool is one of the most exciting things in Illustrator. It allows you to create extremely dynamic and unique shapes, and to use it, it's takes some practice. I'm gonna put that out there. But to use it, what you'll do is you will go to our toolbar menu over here, and yours will look like this. It'll be this pen, this like classical pen tool, and I'm just sliding this over here. And the way that it works is you click and it creates an anchor point. And an anchor point is either an edge or a curve or a corner of a shape. And you'll see I'm just clicking and going around, clicking, going around, clicking, clicking. And to close it, you can see that when I hover over the last anchor point or the first anchor point that I made, you'll see this little circle pop up, and that means I'm going to close this shape. And we can do the same thing again. Notice that it has the little star when there's a new one about to be made. And this is an easy way to create a rectangle if you didn't want to use the rectangle tool. But looking out over here, I'm going to zoom out. I can also click and drag. So I'm holding down the left mouse button and I'm dragging out. And this allows me to create what are known as Bezier curves. And these are a type of curve that have four sort of points to, or well, 2 points to control it, but it's based on four points. So if we look at this, let's zoom in a little bit. An anchor point that is a Bezier curve has an anchor point in the center and two handles. And the handles determine the flow of the curve. So when I have a shape like this, you'll see that I can go back in and manipulate these. But in order to do that, we have to go to the direct selection arrow, the white arrow. So far we've been dealing with the selection tool or the black arrow. We're going to use the white arrow. And that allows us to select a specific anchor point and move it around. Or grab onto the handles and manipulate them. Just like that. So if I wanted to make a really quick raindrop, one way I could do that is I'm going to clear these out by doing Control A or Command A and delete, is I could create a circle, go to my white arrow, my direct selection arrow, draw a selection around the anchor point at the top, click and drag, and I'm holding down Shift to go directly up. And I guess if we went just a little bit up, we've got an egg. But if we went a little bit higher and I drag in the anchor points like so, then we've got a little raindrop. If we wanted to make it curved, I could do something a little bit more playful like that, right? This would give us something more akin to fire. Or I could take this whole form, get rid of the outside outside stroke, turn it yellow. Oop, let's select the fill, turn it yellowy. Let's go a little more yellow. All right, that's good. I could duplicate it by holding down in the black arrow, holding down Alt or Option, shrinking it down, placing it back over, and coming here. And then all of a sudden we've got a little flame that's pretty quickly made, right? We could obviously go deeper than this, but for the purposes of the demonstration, I think that works. Now, what's cool is, say for example, I am working with a rectangle and I want to quickly delete one of these corners. Instead of deleting it outright, I could go in to my white arrow, draw a selection, and move it out of place. I could even bring it to the center and create a triangle, drag it back out and get something that looks like a, we're in perspective. This wouldn't be the way to totally do it in perspective, but you get the idea. But what we could also do is delete these specific anchor points. So if I go in and I go to the pen tool menu and I'm clicking and holding, I can delete anchor point tool and I can delete that anchor point. And I'm going to undo that. I'm just hovering over the anchor point, and with minus or the anchor point tool, I can delete it, and I've got a new shape. If I want to add anchor points, it's the opposite. I'm going to add an anchor point using the drop-down menu and add anchor point, and then go to the white arrow or the letter A, and I can drag it up. So if I want to create, something that's like a house or something, or, a box with a point, not a house, I can go in, add an anchor point directly in the center, and drag this up. And I'm holding down Shift to keep it going directly in the center. And now I'm looking at this and like, actually, I want to make this little top area curved. Remember, I could click here and make it curved that way. But what if I wanted to go in and change that shape in all these corners? I can go in and go to the anchor point tool, which will allow me to convert any anchor point from either a vertex to a Bezier curve or a Bezier curve back to a vertex. So I'm going to click and drag, and now we've got this domed form, and I'll do it on this one, and I'm clicking and dragging. Sometimes you'll find when you're doing this, it'll end up twisted. You just have to click and hold your mouse down until you get it to exactly how you want it to be. Just like that. That one was a little wonky. Cool. And now, if I want to reverse that, just click on the same anchor point again. And it converts it right back. So these are the basics of using the anchor point, using the pen tool to create specific curves.